Hello.
Hello.
Cheers.
Cheers. Don't feel like we've had a drink for a while.
Not on here. Although I know I'm going to get abuse from Tom Wordy for wearing this jumper again because he thinks I live in it.
You pretty much do, to be fair.
No, I don't.
That or the duvet.
So today we are going to make some form of a chicken ballotine.
Very nice.
For Maxi Hunter. It's a good one for everyone to do. So a ballotine is a simple roll. I would say a chicken ballotine would usually be filled with a chicken mousse, and it is then usually rolled up and then rolled within pancetta. Now we are going down a slightly different isolation route in that we are going to be using chicken thighs. I'm not going to be making a chicken mousse. We are going to make a mushroom duxelle to go in the middle of our chicken, and we're going to be wrapping it in bacon. But all of these things work. It's a similar process. I'm also going to put a bit of sausage meat into the duxelle. Keep it moist.
Yes.
Bind it
definitely
together.
not for vegans.
Let's go through our ingredients. So first of all, for the mushroomy mix, we're going to need 1 onion, which we're going to finely dice. A few mushrooms. I've got 5 here. I've got some fresh thyme. I've got some minced garlic to go in there. Bit of Dijon mustard and a bit of butter. Then for our chicken, we've got chicken thighs. We've got 4 here, which are boned. We've got a couple of sausages. Then we've got 8 rashers of bacon, which we're going to sort of flatten out so that they are more like pancetta, so they cook quicker, so they crisp up without overcooking the inside. First things first, we need to get the duxelle, which is effectively just chopped up mushrooms, cooked down slowly with the onion, the garlic, the thyme, bit of mustard in at the end. Just cook it all down. It's a similar vibe that goes into beef Wellington, if anyone's ever made one of those. So let's start with those. So we've got a frying pan. I'm going to start with chopping up our onions. So onion into our frying pan. Nice fine dice there, as you can see. And we're going to put a little bit of butter. I'm going to put a bit of oil and a bit of salt, and we're just going to put that on the medium heat to reduce. Now for our mushy mushrooms, I'm just going to sort of slice them. Okay, then we're just going to sort of roughly chop them. You can do this in a Maggi mix, do it more delicately than I am, whatever you want. You just want to get them quite small. When your mushrooms are sort of looking a little bit like this, they're good. There are some bigger pieces, don't worry too much. We quite want the texture, and they've got so much water in them that they will, reduce right down. They'll probably half, if not a third, in terms of volume. So into our frying pan, I'm just going to put a little bit of the garlic paste. I'm just going to do probably a teaspoon, just to give you a little view on those. They're getting nice and sweated. Yum. We're going to go in with our mushrooms. In with our mushroom. So just like that, and back on the heat. Now we're just going to chop up our thyme. So we're just going to pick off the leaves as much as you can. You just don't want the really woody bits. Chopping this up nice and fine. And then just have a quick look at our mushies. Just going to stir them around. They're not looking too different.
So how long would are you going to sweat this for? Would it take?
Yeah, 10 or 15 minutes. Add a bit more oil or butter if it starts to crisp. You want it more sweat than frying. I'm going to go in with our thyme. So now we're going to move on to our meat. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to just pinch in the middle, squeeze down the tube like we did for the Scotch eggs and sausage rolls. Squeeze that out. So, got our sausage meat in there. We're just going to add a teaspoon of Dijon. And then when our mushrooms are cooked and slightly cooled, we can then add them in. A bit of pepper. Just a little bit of salt in there. So that can then go to the side. Right, chicken next. So, we want to open up our thighs, turn them over. So with these ones from the supermarket, I sometimes find that they don't quite get all the gristle, so just give them a bit of a feel. There's a bit here that I can feel, bone. Just cut that off. That's hard. We're then just going to make sure, you just want them to sort of, they need to feel like they are of a similar thickness throughout. This one feels a lot thicker this end than it does this. So what we're going to do, and you can also do this with breast, is we're going to do something called butterflying out. So you want it to, as you can see, I've just drawn the knife down, and we're just going to sort of open it up like a book. What you don't want to do is go through, like just chop a bit off. So you want it to just, so you see how that's opening up? So you sort of push back, and then what you end up with is something that is the same thickness the whole way through, vaguely, and also has doubled almost in size in terms of this. So that was like that. We've now opened it up like a book. So we're now going to deal with our bacon. So I'm going to get a piece of bacon, and I'm going to push down without cutting the back of my knife over the bacon. So we're just sort of moving it down the length and flattening it out.
And what's the purpose of this?
Basically make the bacon go a bit further, and also so that it's thinner, so it crisps up quicker, it emulates pancetta more. If you've got pancetta, use that. So we'll just get all these done. So now we're at this point, we are ready to finish off our duxelle mix, and then we are going to roll them. So here's our mushrooms. As you can see, they've gone right down. So we're just going to go, we've had these off the heat for probably about 4 minutes. So they're still hot. Well, they're still warm, but they're not too hot that they're going to cook the sausage. And we're going to keep our frying pan. So we're going to actually do our, because it's pretty clean and it, you know, it's all flavour. We're going to keep that pan for when we seal our ballotines in a minute. Now we're going to mix this in. Can do this by hand if you want to, whatever you'd prefer. Happy?
Oh, you're cooking it, so you should be happy.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy, yes.
Okay, so the build. So we're gonna go for probably, I think we're gonna do 2 pieces of bacon per chicken. So if you lay them on the angle, as flat as you can, and then the next one, we're going to lay just above. So it overlaps here. There is a slight overlap. Is that easier to see?
Yes.
Slight overlap there. And then we're going to go in with our chicken thigh. So on top, like this, we're going to season it. So season your breast or your thigh, as we've got, with a bit of salt and some pepper. Obviously there's a lot of flavour in our mix, but you want it to still be seasoned. So then we're just going to take, this is the bit that I think people go wrong slightly. You don't want masses. You want to have the right amount of mix. So I'm going to spread it out. You don't want it to have loads and loads and loads of stuffing inside it. Otherwise it will all just fall apart and it won't sort of hold together well. Obviously the sausage meat is sticky, so that's perfect. Gonna get a bit more. And don't go right to the edges. So I'm going sort of, what would that be? Like a centimetre? So we're gonna just lift, gently, gently, gently lift up. And you're taking the bacon as well. And you're just gonna roll. So bacon and all. And squeeze back. So pull back and roll over. Pull back and roll over. And then we get to the end and really pull back at this point. And then I'm just gonna go to there. And there you go. So, as you can sort of see, so the end is open. If you had this as a breast, you probably wouldn't get this sort of end situation. It would look a bit neater. But actually that will be fine. It's going to be sturdy as, and because of the sausage meat, etc., it's not a loose innard, so it will just cook into the chicken. And basically that will then just become a nice little parcel that we can carve, and it'll have a, hopefully, sort of circle-y...
Like a roulade.
Yeah. So that's it. We're going to go again. So here we are. These are our 4 wrapped, nice and tight they feel, which is amazing. We're going to fry them off and then we're going to put them in the oven, so we might have to move locations.
Yes, we shall.
So we've got our pan on a sort of medium to low heat. I'm just going to put a little bit of extra oil in. So we're just going to wait for that to warm up a bit. Right, let's check the temp. Starting to hiss, so we're going to go in. And this is just about sealing the meat and also the joint. So don't overcrowd too much, that's absolutely fine. And you want to be able to just turn them. Right, when we get to about that point, we're going to just turn. So I'm going to go onto the side. And we're going to turn again. So once you're at this stage where they're browned the whole way round, all sealed, we're going to pull in our baking trays. I'm just going to pop those on there. Nice and evenly spread out, just like that. So these can now either just sit like that and wait until you want to put them in the oven. We're going to put ours in at about 200 degrees to start with for about 10 minutes to really get the bacon crispy. We're going to then turn down to 180 for another 10 minutes and then we'll give them a check. So we have cooked our chicken ballotines for about 25 minutes in total. So I know I said do 10 minutes at 200. We then did 15 minutes at 180 just to be double sure. Obviously, because ours have got sausage meat in them, so I just wanted to make sure the centre was nice and hot. A way to check them is just either get one out and go for it, slice it in half. Obviously, ours are at different sort of sizes. So this one was my tester. So these will definitely be cooked because this one was. Another way to check it is to stick a knife in it and then test that it's hot all the way through on your lip. And then you can just cut it in half. But I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. So I'm going to probably use the big one. We've then rested them for about 5 to 10 minutes. So they are still hot, but they're not boiling hot. So I'm just going to cut on a slight angle. Oh, hello. She's going to try and not let that happen.
Cut her fingers off.
Well, no, more like I don't want the bacon to fall off, Adam.
Oh no.
Do we? But as you can see, it's all nice and crispy. It's cutting well. It's cutting well. They're holding their shape, so test. Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
So as you can see, it's nice and juicy in the middle. The stuffing is totally cooked through. So to serve, we have just done ours. I've just laid it out like that, and we're just serving ours with some green beans, some peas, and some boiled new potatoes. I'm going to use, there are some juices in the pan, just do a little drizzle over the top with those and enjoy.